Did you know that you could make a framework to set a cabochon just by creating a coil? So these are two coils connected together, and they can frame. So you can actually spread them out a lot more, but I actually like them when they're quite condensed. It gives a very decorative look. So I've got a lovely piece of jasper here, and I've got my coiling rod ready in my WireWizz tool. I'm using 0.8mm wire, 20 gauge. So I'm going to connect it on the coiling rod, and away we go. Just turn the handle. So you work from the spool because you're not quite sure how much you'll need. I haven't worked it out yet. I suppose if I measured the diameter of the stone, I could do that. But each stone is so different that there's no point, sort of, and each rod is a different size and all these things. So there's many things. Now, don't let it curl over itself when you're curling. So keep your fingers really close to the coil that you're making. So work from the spool, make a length, because my stone is quite big, and then you're going to cut it off from the spool, obviously, once you've got a nice amount. And it doesn't matter if you make too much, because you can make jump rings out of it, you can make other components out of these coils. So you're never going to waste anything, at least I don't. So cut it off from the end where you threaded it, and then you're ready to go. So got our lovely coil, and I'm just going to measure the circumference of the stone just to give me an idea of how much frame I need to make. So I'm just using a little bit of, a cotton cord here, and that gives me my measure. Now start stretching the coil out a little bit, loosen it up, just sort of start pulling it apart, and then use the top of your hammer to start squishing it down. And that is just slow little movements. Don't go too quick with this, because you can damage and misshape some of the circles. So just go slowly. You're just easing it and spreading it out, and then what I call steamrollering the piece to flatten it. So it's like a steamroller. You're just pulling it, stretching it, and flattening it. And you just keep doing that, easing it out, because you don't want to get these coils too uneven. As it gets flatter, it's easier to do. Then you can just hold it, and while you're pushing the hammer on it, you can actually be pulling it slightly. And what you want to do is actually separate them a little bit, so they can just slightly overlap, but not too much. And if you find that there's some uneven gaps, you can always move them together or move them more apart with your fingers. So the length I want is measured by my string, so I cut that off, and I know that will be a bit more, because by the time I stretch it out, I'm going to stretch it out even more than that. I've got excess, and I do want a bit of extra. So I'll need two pieces, because I'm going to wire them together to make the front and the back frame to set the stone. So now I'm just going to spend a bit longer pulling them apart so they're a bit more separated. And as I say, do this slowly. You can hold it down and then pull, hold it down and press down and pull on your mat. And this just stretches and flattens and makes this nice even coil, which you could never have made so evenly by hand. So this is where the WireWizz is great. I suppose you could do it on a coiling gizmo, or you could do it on a knitting needle. It's, if you don't have the WireWizz tool, use something else that you can coil around. And once you've got it separate, so you've got those little circles, or the tops of those circles separated, that's when you're sort of ready to go. So here I am pulling, I'm holding and pulling, holding and stretching. It's very satisfying. And it's like gallery wire, really. That's what we're creating, our own gallery wire to, you know, put round something. So now I've stretched both my pieces. I'm using 0.4 millimeter 26 gauge for my binding. So take a nice long length from the spool, cut that off, and we're going to just again measure how much we want. So got to sort of eyeball it there. I'm never going to start right at the end because I want to have a bit of an end. So just put your two pieces together back to back, so you want the loopy ends on the outside, and leave a bit of excess wire also sticking out at the end, so you've got that little extra if you need to wire things together. And to start with, it is a bit difficult. You've got to hold these two long floppy bits that, you know, feel like they're alive. And what you want to do is bind the two together at the center. You don't want them to overlap. So try and keep them flat together, and you're binding in between the loops and inside the loops as you go between each of them. Basically, you just want it to be secured together as one piece. So this is a bit of a, you know, boring bit for you to watch me do, but you can see what's happening. So I whizzed forward, did a little bit more, so you didn't have to watch me go in and out. And I'm nearly coming now to the end of the length required for the circumference of the jasper stone that I want to frame. And if you run out of wire when you're doing this, just cut another length of 0.4 and then, you know, reconnect and carry on. So it's never a problem. So now I've got my two pieces joined together. So here we go. And by the way, you can make nice bangles like this. So you can see how pretty this sort of connection of these loops looks like. So now I go round the stone again just to check that it's, and I also want to shape it a bit more. So I'm trying to shape, and then you squidge, or you're trying to flatten the two together. You're making that little V shape for the stone to sit into. So obviously this really would only work with a slim cabochon. If you had a very chunky piece, you'd have to put more wire in between. And when you're ready to start connecting and securing it around the stone, get yourself a bit of masking tape or painter's tape, something, and just check which is the front, which is the back, which is the base, which is the top, wherever. This is going to be the base now. And tape the middle of your loopy frame to the base of your stone, and then do the two sides as well, because you've only got two hands and you need about 4 to do this because the wire is so springy. So this is really going to help you bring the two ends together. So now that you've got that secured around, you're going to look at the ends and find out where they meet. So you need to get them really sort of hugging the stone. And if you've got some, you know, excess, I've always left a little, do you remember I said leave a little bit at the end? You can unravel it, because this can be your bail. So if you unravel it and take it to where you last, you know, where you started your weaving, just keep those lengths out, don't cut them off yet, and then bring the other side close up and see where they meet, because you're going to have to trim that excess to get it exactly so that it hugs the whole of the circumference of the stone, and then cut into the coils, because you want to leave complete circles there. And any excess, just make sure that it's evened out. There's no, projecting pieces. So now that I've got it the length that is required, I'm just going to go through the last bit of it and bring it tightly together. And then I'm just going to bring one of my thin wires from one side into the other. So it's like sewing, really, isn't it? And then I'm going to do the same from the opposite side, bring it to the opposite end, and then I'm going to pull and bring it all together so that you've got it all linked around, secured, hugging the stone really tightly. Make sure it's gripping it. And if you need to cut off 2 more loops, you might have to. Sometimes it takes a bit of time to. And now these were the leftovers. I'm going to straighten them. You can see if you hold it and then pull and twist with your flat nose pliers, you can straighten out these raggedy ends that I pulled out. You see, hold it with your one pair of pliers, flat nose, chain nose, whatever, then grip the opposite end with your flat nose really tightly and pull and twist, and that will straighten out the wires that were part of the coil. And these 2 projecting wires can now become the bail at the top of your piece. If you don't have any wires left over, of course you can put a jump ring in there, you can add a bail, you can put another wire in there. There's so many interpretations and variations. So I'm just using up my excess binding wire at the top, making sure it's completely, feels secure and it's held together and the stone is not going to pop out. So now I've got these extending wires ready to, I can weave a bail in between. I could have just left one and made that into the bail, but I've decided because it's quite a big, hefty, circular gemstone, I probably need a wide bail to, in proportion to the stone. It will balance out my design. So I've cut another piece of 0.4 and I'm going to do a ladder weave, probably about 4 around one of these wires, bring it across, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then across to the next one, and I just keep going up from one side to the other, bringing the wire across to fill and create this ladder weave between these 2 projecting wires. It's just like a filler, really. It's like you're sort of weaving a basket, aren't you? So, keep going right up to, as you can see, I bent the very end of the wires outwards so that it's very easy for me to bring the wire through the center of that channel, and you just go up and down like a ladder. So now I've got to the end, I'm just finishing off my ladder weave and tying off the last bit, and I'll cut that off so that there's nothing sticking out, but that will be long enough for my bail. And I'm going to curl that in a minute around to make my bail. And first of all, I push it forward towards the front in order to bring it back around to make the loop, so that the loop of the bail sits more centered to the stone. And then I'm just going to bend the ends outward. And that means when I bring the wires together, those bits are sitting outside, and there I've got my sort of lovely teardrop loop for the top of the stone. So I've got these little ends sticking out. I'm just trimming them to be the same length. And what you can do with those, if you've only got very little bit of wire there, just curl them into a circle, because you never want a, a sort of straight end of wire sitting anywhere on your pieces, because they can scratch, they can catch. So just make them into little circles. If you have a lot of wire, you can actually spiral them and make a feature at the back. It really doesn't matter, but you just don't want it to be too bulky. So that's your main aim, is not leaving too much of a bulk on your pieces. And now you've got all these sticking out wires, that sort of spidery legs. Use them, because then you don't have to add any more. So use them to wrap around the base of the bale to connect it at the top of the stone, and that means that you've got a completely I mean, it's a bit like tying off a button or something. You go round the base just above the stone, securing it all together. Sorry, I'm out of camera. I'm just bringing it back in, and then cut off any excess. So really how you do this is there's no technique to this. You can push the wires in the middle and cut them off there, and that way they're not sitting, on the outside and can't lift up. So I'm just pushing them through the middle of the bale and just making sure they are not sticking out. And if you've misshaped the bale by doing all this, you can just put your bale makers back in. So now you can take the tape off and just check that the stone does feel safe and framed within your coiled framework. So I'm just checking now, making sure that it's a bit rounder. And sometimes what I do is I push if my ladder weave is not great, and it isn't, I just push it in. If it's a bit, I don't know, loose, that also means it's not, it just gives it a bit more shaping, really, a bit more interest. I'm not a technically perfect jeweler at all. I just like coming up with ideas and sharing them, and then some of you are just so much better technically. So I'm now just pressing down with the steel part of my hammer, just making sure that it's really gripped in and secure, and that's it. And there we have a coil framed cabochon. So do have fun creating your own versions. Thank you for watching.